Hello. I want to explain a little bit about a document that I created. It's called Notice of Objection, Demand to Cease Unlawful or Non-Compliant Use of Automated License Plate Reader Technology, Demand to Preserve Records, and Requests for Written Assurances, City of Milford, Connecticut. This is a private notice and demand. It is not a court order, a judgment, warrant, lien, or finding of a civil or criminal liability. It identifies conditional legal requirements or duties, contract risk, potential noncompliance, roadway safety questions, and records needed to determine the facts as they are. And I'll say this, even though it says that this is not a court order or a judgment or a civil or criminal liability trial, those are very possible based on what 20,000 city officials did since 2017. You had 20,000 elected city local officials at City Hall, or at your aldermen, your councilors, your commissioners, and 5,000 police chief, maybe 6,000, I'm not sure, that all worked in unison, in concert, to bring forth a mass surveillance system for us. And then you got this guy that's the head of the party, at Block CEO, coming out and saying that us deep blockers are nothing but terrorists worse than Antifa. Antifa are murderous, internationally recognized terrorists. And for some reason, 1.7 million people, innocent people that are tied up into this, somehow were worse than Antifa. Well, all I can say is that moron in charge over there at Flock, yes, you're worth millions and maybe billions. We don't care. You lit a fuse under a powder keg that you're never going to be able to put out, ever. But enough of that. That's how we got here. Address to the mayor. You can pass it to him. You can read it to him, however you want to do this, right? City of Milford's reported or proposed use of Flock Safety Automated License Plate Reader, Vehicle Classification, Machine Learning, Automated Alert, Network Sharing, and related artificial intelligence technology, and ownership, placement, permitting, and roadside safety of support poles. I think a lot of you out there have recognized that these poles that they've stuck in concrete along roadways, near intersections, and what they call the clear zone, don't have the required DOT or state or Caltrans or Department of Transportation's breakaways as required by law. Now, it's interesting. Not only did they do this in the dark of night and bring this about with no input, secretly, for 9 years, and they're putting these poles in the ground illegally. Well, the whole thing's illegal. As of June 29th, 2026, the United States Supreme Court came out in Cattery versus United States, came out, and they did a couple things that are beneficial for these automatic license plate reader technology. One, they did away with the third-party doctrine, right? In other words, you can't put the data on a third-party server or in a company and hold that away from the public. They are actually, those records are actually available through FOIA requests, open records requests. And that'll happen. It'll take a little bit for the courts to catch up, but it's going to happen. The second thing, more importantly, is they said, the United States Supreme Court said, in that case, we have an expectation of privacy and the totality of our movements in public. Let me say that again. We have now an expectation of privacy and the totality of our movements in public. So basically, that's exactly what Flux AI does. It takes our movements, not just one image, and later one image. It takes our movements, and they track our movements, and which are illegal now, unconstitutional. But we're not going to worry about the Constitution up to the federal level. We're going to worry about the Constitution at the state level. And we're going to be worrying about district court level. We're not going to get involved with the federal stuff. We don't need to. This all started from the City Hall, and this is where it's going to end. Mark my words. And if anyone wants to debate me on this, let's go for it. I will smoke you, figuratively. Thank you for listening. Oh, by the way, this document is 44 pages long. It has all kinds of whereas, all kinds of statements. It lists the statutes, the constitutional aspects at the state level. So I think it's going to be a pretty cool thing.